Yeah, it means the world. I mean, winning a world title to me is like you surf, 10 events around every different condition, around every different competitor. And so to me, that means you're the best surfer in the world. And that's like the ultimate thing as a surfer, is to win the world title. So um oh my gosh, it's like super surreal and it's really special, and I'm really stoked. And I feel like I'm floating, like feel like I'm on a cloud. I don't know if it's sunken in yet, but yeah, it's really special. And I'm so happy. It's crazy because yeah, Carissa has been like Carissa and Steph have been like my biggest inspirations before, when I just started surfing and looking up to the tour and being like, I want to be like them one day. In my second year on tour, I was in the world title race with Carissa, which was pretty crazy. And it's just crazy that like a few years later that we were in the same position. I was against the same person. And I think, the second year I was on tour, I was only 17. So to be in that title race, I don't think I really like, I knew I could have did it. I believed in myself. I was able to do it then, but I also was like a little bit oblivious to the situation. And I was just kind of young and just kind of like, I don't know if I was really ready for it then, you know what I mean? Where I think this year being back in that position against Carissa, I felt like, okay, like it's my time, like this is mine. And she's such a beast and she's so incredible and she's been dominating the sport for so long. I think there's a stat where like Carissa, Steph, and Tyler for the last 15 years have won the titles up until yesterday. So it's pretty crazy, and I was like, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and she's a 5-time world champ for a reason. And yeah, to me, I think she's the best. So I was like, I want to beat the best to win the title. And so, yeah, to beat her was just like, feels really good. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for her. And so, yeah, to be in the final with her was like what I wanted. It's what I dreamed about happening. It's crazy that it happened. Yeah, I think like, honestly, the whole day I was kind of like, the waves were really good and I was just really excited to surf lowers and nobody out. And it's really hard to get that wave, but nobody out. I mean, there's always like 100+ people out there surfing. So I just felt like I was a Grom and like, oh my gosh, like the waves are good and I'm out here by myself or with one other person. And how cool is this? I was like really in the moment. And I feel like when I have that mindset, I tend to surf my best because I don't put so much pressure on myself. But yeah, of course, like, every heat, it's your whole year comes down to 35 minutes and it's pretty crazy, and you're against the best, and everyone that's there has had a stellar year and everyone's in fine form, and it's gnarly. Like every single heat from the first heat to the last heat was like so gnarly. So when I got into the final with Carissa, yeah, I felt like the heat against Tyler, the heat before, I felt like I clicked into a really good rhythm and I got some really good scores. And I just feel like I got this like crazy connection with the ocean and my board felt amazing. And I was just feeling the crowd. And I don't know, that heat gave me a lot of confidence. And when I won that first heat with Carissa, I definitely was like, holy cow, like, I mean, the next heat I can do it. But at the same time, I didn't want to get too caught up in the moment because that's how you can lose the moment, when you're just like, I'm like, okay, I got 5-time world champ here. Like, she's super gnarly. Like, this is going to be super gnarly. And so I just kind of kept having the same mindset all day and just not really changing it till after. And then after, I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I was honestly just trying to focus on myself the whole day and not worry about what anyone else was doing. I was just like, I'm on my own path. I'm doing my thing. Like, don't get caught up in what anyone else is doing. And because there's a lot of people there and a lot of crowd and a lot of energy, I was just kind of in my zone with my headphones on and just kind of, yeah, I'm in my own vibe. And then all of a sudden I was just like, things kept happening. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, I sure hope so. I definitely like, people are like, hey, what now? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to try to win another one. Like every year I'm going to have the same goal. So, yeah, I mean, to get one at this age is really special. I feel like, when I started, surfing at a young age and started doing really well in my amateur career and my junior career, I think things happened really fast for me. And people were quickly to say like, oh, you're the future world champion, the future world champion. And so I feel like, just to do it, to actually do it just feels really good. And like, I went through a pretty hard time last year, like mentally and physically. I had to take some time off. And I definitely had moments where I doubted myself and wasn't really sure if I was ever I was ever going to get back in the place where I, find that like happiness that I have now and that I had before last year. So it really feels good to be back in like a state of happiness and just enjoying my surfing, enjoying the people around me, and just I just want to do the tour as long as possible. I just love it. So hopefully I can get a few more under my belt, as many as possible would be really special for sure. Yeah, I think it definitely wasn't an easy decision to like take time off, but I think it was something I knew that needed to be, it needed to happen. And my whole entire support crew around me was like, this needs to happen. And so, now looking back, I'm really grateful for it, and, I want to do the tour as long as possible. And I want it to be fun, like, every year. And so I think if that means like, what's 1 year to take off if I have my whole life ahead of me, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I think for me, like every moment away from the tour felt like an eternity, but I learned so much about myself, and it's made me have a whole new appreciation for surfing. And it kind of made me, realize who I want around me and who I don't want around me. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what made this moment so much more special. And so I was just thinking yesterday, like, wow, last year I was at like a really low point, and this year I'm like having the year of my life. So it's just such a crazy and surreal feeling. And, I do believe everything happens for a reason. I think my time away like really needed to happen to make me get to this point, because I had to overcome a lot of things mentally, and I think it made me a lot more strong-minded. And to be a world champion, you have to be very strong-minded. So it was much needed. Yeah, I'm very excited. Being in Tokyo for the Olympics was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. And it was just like, I don't know, I didn't have any expectations because that was my first Olympics, and it was new to surfing. It was surfing's first year ever. So, but man, it was a lot of fun. And to have that like team environment, surfing's a very individual sport. So to have that like team environment was so cool. And to like just be representing your country is such a powerful feeling. So I'm really looking forward to going back, and I love Tahiti, and I'm just excited.